We're now joined by Jaguars kicker Riley Patterson. Riley, been in Jacksonville now for a couple of weeks. What's the transition been like for you?
It's been pretty good. There's been a lot of good people in this organization, so everyone's really treated me well. It's very humid here, so I had to get used to that for sure, coming from Detroit before this. But it's been awesome. I very much enjoyed it. And winning like last weekend was pretty sweet, too.
When you get the call while you're up in Detroit that you've been claimed by the Jaguars, what was your reaction?
I was so excited. I was thankful, and I was ready to get down here pretty quick.
Did you have any sort of relationship with Heath or anybody else down here?
No. I was just excited, really, to get the call and just get down here and get rolling.
As much as you're adjusting to the Florida humidity, it's kind of humid in Memphis, right? A little.
Memphis is very humid as well, yeah. And I guess there's pretty similar circumstances in Memphis. Fall camps, we were literally shoved into an ice box in between periods, and here it can be pretty similar. So, yeah, I guess I'm kind of used to it.
And as David Wolf told me, you almost didn't end up at Memphis. Is it true? You almost were playing soccer at a different school.
Yeah, I thought I was going to play soccer, forever. That was going to be my deal, but I just kept on getting better and better at football, and I couldn't get a full scholarship going anywhere to play soccer. That's really tough for guys since there's only 9 scholarships and there's, 80-something for football. So, yeah, I ended up getting a full scholarship for kicking. I'm like, look, this kind of made up my decision for me.
When did you actually start kicking full-time in football?
Full-time, high school, but I had played football as running back, safety, all growing up, and I also played soccer too, so I'm like, well, I was a kicker. So I'd always kicked, but I never thought I'd become of anything, but it kind of turned into something completely different than what I expected, but it's obviously pretty sweet.
Kicking is such a specialized field where, you have to have the trainers, you have to have this, that, and the other, at least in this day and age. Did you have any of that coming up, or was it not until like your senior year when you got to college that you had specific coaches for kicking?
Yeah, at college you have special teams coaches, and in high school as well too, but they don't specifically know a bunch about kicking. You have to go to camps and training in the off season and kick with other kickers really to get that training. And at this level, your best coaches are other kickers in the NFL who've done it for so long. So I did that a lot like this past off season as well. But really growing up, you just watch YouTube videos and then you just try and mimic those motions and kind of figure it out that way. And I was just lucky enough to be able to do that.
How did going to Memphis change your life, both on the football field but also off the football field?
Well, the biggest change in my life in Memphis really wasn't with football. I'm very much into my faith, and I started being discipled once I got there by a man named Jeff Jordan. Who's amazing, and I started going to a church called High Point Church, and that changed my life completely, much more so than football has now or ever have. So that was really a godsend. Going to Memphis, never thought to about Memphis at all, and then I get there and it changed my life completely.
How has St. Jude and your involvement there, because I know you were pretty involved, how has that kind of shaped your perspective on how you approach being a professional athlete but also a human?
Well, that's a cool question. Yeah, I had 2 internships there, and my wife also interned there twice. She went to Mizzou. She came down for the summers, and definitely puts a perspective on it. And I, volunteered there, like doing bingo night and stuff all throughout college. And it's just everyone there is just so excited to come to work every day, and it's hard not to be excited to come to work here, knowing that they just fire and energy every day, because what they're doing makes a giant difference for a lot of people, because their salaries are donations from other people and then pouring all they have into these kids. So it was it was just a fire that I saw in those people, and it's just cool to try and mimic that, and whatever job I have, whether it's this or whatever else down the line, but definitely motivation for sure.
How is that kind of also, when you miss a kick or when you miss a field goal, how does that experience and your experience at Memphis and also growing up, how does that kind of, create stability for you?
Well, it's everything. Football is, it's my job, it's my career, but it's not my life. It's not who I am. I identify as a Christian first and foremost, and as a brother, as a son, as a husband now. I just got married in April, which is a whole other bag. Football is very important to me, and I care very much about this job, but it's not the end-all, be-all. I have a place for myself in heaven once this is all over, no matter what happens, at practice today tomorrow or at the game on Sunday, whether good nor bad, whether praise from someone on the internet or whether it's, I'm getting yelled at for something missing a kick. So it definitely puts a big perspective on it. And that was an excellent question. I appreciate that.
Thank you. As a former goalie myself, I know the feeling of you need to, if it goes in, great. If it doesn't, it's all good.
Yeah.
So for you to see that 52-yarder go through the uprights this past Sunday, what did that mean to you?
It was pretty sweet. Obviously, just one kick. It's the same amount of points as a 20-yarder, But it's definitely good. It definitely builds confidence. The more kicks you get in games and the more reps you get, like Logan and Ross and like this team, especially in the stadium. So, yeah, it's fun. And hopefully, the coaches trust me the more and more kicks I have on the field. So, yeah, it's great. It's enjoyable. I love making kicks,
How would you describe Logan and Ross? Have you gotten a read on their dynamic yet?
They're fun people. They're both very good at ping pong. Ross is probably the best, but we'll see by the end of the season. But yeah, they're great people. Everyone really on this team has been very kind, very nice, and a lot of enjoyment, to be honest, during practice and off practice and off the field. So yeah, it's been a good time.
You played in a indoor stadium last year, so can you give these guys any sort of tips as you guys get ready to head to SoFi this weekend?
Well, it's a lot easier in the indoor, especially kicking. It's no wind. It's almost like a vacuum, so that's awesome. I heard it's pretty hot over there, but obviously we're pretty used to that here, so I don't think it's going to be too hard of a transition.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Riley.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect. I love it.